Hey everybody, welcome back to Shade Tree Chevy. I'm Jay, and this is the third video I think that I've posted up. If you haven't, go check out some of the first ones. I think I did some nightshade on my Silverado, put some spacers on the wheels. So if you like that sort of thing, go check those videos out. But today I had mentioned in a second video that I was looking for a race car, drag car, something to tinker with, something to play with, and I found one. As you can see by the title of this video, I bought a race car. It's a little bit different than what you'd expect, and for those of you that got that eagle eye, you can probably already tell what it is. So without further ado, well, check out these clips from when I first bought it. So there you go. I bought a 1993 Ford Foxbody Mustang. It started its life as a 4-cylinder LX car. When I bought it, it had been big block swapped. Pretty much just bare bones though. Just threw the motor in there, made sure it ran, and that's all they had done. It didn't have a hood. Carburetor was really just not tuned very well. Had some really good parts on it though, and we'll go over those, and we'll kind of go over the plans that I have for it moving forward. So here's how she looks today. She's up on jack stands, front bumper sports off, carburetor's tore apart, distributor's pulled apart. We've actually got the left side header is off because it was crushed. I'll try to throw some pictures of that in here and let you see that. You can see the car looks a little bit different. I took all of the black striping off, took the Boss 429 stickers off because we don't know for sure if it's 429. I don't think it is. The heads are the C9VE stamp, so I believe that it came out of a car, but not sure, you know, the year or anything like that yet. We've not pulled the motor. Took those off. We got a little bit better set of rear radials on there with a nice set of polished weld drag wheels, or weld like drag wheels. It was a full interior car, but I am in the process of stripping it out. It had the Hurst hammer shifter in the B&M hammer shifter in there, which took me a while to figure out. I wasn't really used to the sequence, didn't really know how that worked. Pulling the rear seats out, gonna be pulling the back rests off, taking the carpet out of the back. We plan to move the battery back there to the trunk. The passenger seat will probably go back in, and the center console will probably go back in, but the rear seat and stuff will probably stay out. I'm gonna have on the front here, you know, where your gauge cluster or your AC and everything is. We don't have AC, of course. We do still have our heater box and everything, so the heater actually works, but I would like to pull that out. My dad's not a big fan of that, but we'll see. We'll compromise on that and go from there. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. The skinny's up front. I mean, that came with the car, so I got pretty lucky with that. Let's take a look at the big block. So like I said, it's kind of in teardown mode. When I got it, we had to replace the intake manifold gasket. It didn't have a valley pan. We put one with a valley pan in there, sealed it up. It had a real bad oil leak on the back right side. Had to replace the belts, redo the power steering because it was canted really bad. Wasn't really I don't really know how to explain it. It was just off center. Changed the oil, tuned the carburetor. It was actually running really good. I'll throw up a clip of me at the drag strip the first time. We did take it racing one time this year just to make sure it would run and see what it would do. We're pretty pleased with it for the first time out. Fastest pass was about 14.6, I believe, at about 98 miles an hour. So we were spinning pretty good off the 60 foot. And the first pass, the back barrel, or the back bowl actually filled up with fuel, started flooding out, and throwing white fuel smoke everywhere. So we tuned it a little bit, adjusted the float, and we were able to get a little bit better pass, a little bit faster, picked up a little bit of ET, picked up about 6 miles an hour. So we're hoping, you know, to break into the 13s this year with what we've got planned. So let's talk about what we have planned. So me personally, the plans for this car, I would love to be able to be like, we're running 10s or we ain't running anything. But unfortunately, that just takes a lot of money. Top end kits, cams, all that stuff. It's expensive for these big blocks. It's not like a small block where you can go buy parts off of pretty much anybody. So, you know, you pretty much have to go with new stuff unless you're just in a dense area where a lot of people are running big blocks. Here I'm not. So there's all the wiring from the original four-cylinder car still in here. I would like to strip all that out, do a standalone fuse panel, everything like that with just the basics, lights, gauges, ignition, and that'd be pretty much about it. And fuel, of course, but we're using the factory fuel pump right now with an external pump wired in, so it's pushing two different fuel pumps, and that seemed to be giving us a little bit better result than when we were first working on the car. But we're going to go with a new fuel pump, a high flow fuel pump. I ordered a jet kit for the carburetor. It had a size 70 jets in it right now, and we just don't think that's big enough for what the big block needs. So I ordered a 70 to 80 kit, and we'll just mess around and see what happens with that. I have new front springs. It's still got the factory springs, factory 4-cylinder springs, all that stuff. I went with the Morosos, the Trick series. A lot of different reviews online about those. Some folks are saying that you can't get them in the Foxbodies as is, you have to go ahead and shave a coil. I'm going to do my best to get those on here without shaving a coil. Like I said, mentioned my dad, he kind of helps me out with everything, and he's a book of knowledge for me, so he and I will work to see what we can do to make sure those work. Eventually a K-member, coilovers, all that stuff, but again, that stuff costs money, and we want to just get the car to where it's consistent running, and then we'll worry about going even further into that. Weight reduction is a big thing that I'm trying to do. Eventually I'd like to go tube front end, Team Z, something like that, but that's a ways down the road. We have new adjustable upper control arms for the rear. This car actually came, so a little bit about this car, we bought it out of North Carolina. You could tell it was a drag car. It's got a braided transmission dipstick. It had a Mallory fuel pressure regulator. It had a nice, what was it? Anyway, different aftermarket ignition coil, oil cooler, or trans cooler, headers, 3.5 inch all the way out with an H pipe, subframe connectors. It had a lot of stuff, and for what I paid for it, I'm pretty pleased with it. You can see we bought a hood. I bought this hood for 40 bucks. It's a fiberglass hood. It was pretty rough shape. My dad and I, we stripped it down, resealed it 100 times better than what it was when we bought it. And so budget build. If you want to call this anything, this is going to be a Foxbody budget build, a legit one. You know, you see a lot of folks on YouTube, or I do, because I've been looking for months. I've had this car for months. Bought it in August. it's like Foxbody budget build, and then they're throwing thousands and thousands of dollars. Even with the parts that I've ordered this last week, I've probably only put maybe $600 into the car other than buying it. So this is going to be a legit build. I'll throw up a picture of our time slips from the first time drag racing, and then that way you'll be able to see as we do things how things change. Oh, aluminum radiator. Trying to think of some of the other things that were on the car. The rear upper control arms that were on there, they had already boxed them in to where they'd be a little bit more rigid, so they'd have a better chance of planting the tire. They had Lakewood shocks on the rear, which I've replaced because we had one shock that was bad. So put new Lakewood 50/50 shocks in the rear. I'm going to eventually go with either 60/40s or 90/10s up front. We haven't decided yet. The big debate is whether we're going to be able to street this car or not. Me personally, I would just like to have it straight drag car. I don't plan to really drive it on the road, or it's not going to be a daily or anything like that. Furthest I may drive it, I mean it is tagged, but the furthest I probably will drive it is, you know, within 10-15 miles of me to maybe a show or something like that. So it's not really a huge thing for me to be a street car. Now yes, it'll be probably closer to a street car than a drag car in reality, but that's kind of where we're at. What else have we done? We've done, we set the timing, we put new valve cover gaskets on there too. I cleaned that intake manifold up a lot. We put a new fuel pressure gauge on it just to see. So we're having trouble with the pressure, and we think, like I said, we think it's the fuel pump not being able to get enough fuel up here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the new race car. The name of the channel is still Shade Tree Chevy because I'm a Chevy guy. But this car was super cheap, and it was a big block. And I like big blocks. I grew up around a big block Chevy, and so I don't know. We just want to see what we can pull out of this motor. It's, from what we know, it's completely stock motor other than the intake. There's no cam. It does have headers, like I said. It's got the nice exhaust. But other than that, it's pretty much just factory big block 460, 429, the 385 series. So came out of a 70-some model passenger car, according to the head stamp. Some of y'all may know better than me. I don't know. But that's pretty much it. So there you have it, guys. That's kind of the rundown of the car. Like I said, it ran good once we had everything dialed in on the carburetor, but we just don't think it's getting enough fuel, so we're going to do a little bit of tweaking. We've got the front bowl off of there, you can see. And we're just going to see what we can do. Like I said, it's a wiring nightmare to me. You know, it's got the electric fans, they've got the relay there, we've still got all the factory wiring back there. It's got the factory brake booster, which I would like to go to a manual brake, manual rack, all that stuff. I don't know, we'll see, but I think she's pretty. I've always liked these Foxbody Mustangs, especially the hatch. I'm not a notch fan, so a lot of folks are big fans of the notch. I'm not, so we'll see. Like I said, I've got some springs. When this thing's sitting on the ground with the factory springs and stuff, you can't even hardly see the top side of the tire, and there's no transfer. It doesn't come up in the front at all. So we're hoping with some suspension tweaking that we can get this thing to giddy up and go. No pun intended there, but yeah, that's her. That's our 1993 LX Mustang. She's straight. It's a straight car. Not many dents or dings. Sorry about this pole. I keep seeing, y'all keep seeing, but it's right here in the middle. But if you want to see more content about the Foxbody, you want to see the build go on, guys, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for, you know, just kind of tell me that people are seeing it, and hit that notification bell if you need to. That way you can see every time I upload a video. I don't really have a schedule for it. Like I said, it's took me months to even do an intro video for the car. Thinking about naming her Nemo. I've always been a Finding Nemo fan because I'm a kid, I guess. But well, if y'all think of a different name, let me know. Alright. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you for watching. We'll see you next time.